Hi, everyone. This is Tom Camboris here again with My Balance Formula, and we are going to ask David Brudö with Remente, an app that focuses primarily on well-being and life balance, what his own life balance formula is today. David, welcome.
Thank you so much, Tom. How's it going today?
It's going very well. Now, I know I used the English sort of pronunciation of your name, but can you just clarify how you pronounce your name in
Yeah,
Swedish?
well, in Swedish it would be David Brudö, which can be a bit difficult for English-speaking natives to pronounce. So Brudö is a good, translation of it, I would say.
Thank you. You're saving me because I think, yeah, I would have failed on on that one. Great. Okay, so we're here for me to ask you 3 questions about your own life balance. Before we do that, though, can you give the audience a little bit of a flavor of what you do, what's important to you, and what you've been doing recently?
Yeah, so as you briefly mentioned, I'm a co-founder of Remente, which is an app with the mission to democratize mental well-being. As you can imagine, it's super easy and simple to fulfill that mission, or not. But we have been at this, at least conceptually, for the past 10 years. And our ambition is to more or less unleash human potential by helping users work with their brain instead of against it. And what I learned the hard way as spending my professional career as entrepreneur is I was basically running a mental marathon without having prepared for it. And I learned the hard way that all the efforts when it comes to our mental health and well-being more or less are focused on healthcare as opposed to well-being. So once things have gone too far, then you acknowledge that you need to work with your mental state, with your mental health once you're in a depression or burned out state. And that's kind of sad because that's really when things have gone too far. And I was one of those cases and realized that I really would have needed to treat my mind the same way I treated my body. I've always go to the gym and I've done exercising because I know that's important for my physical health, but for my mental health, as I mentioned, I was running a daily mental marathon without having prepared for it. And with my background from digital products, I realized that our digital devices, such as the smartphone, we know that they can influence our mental health negatively, but at the same time, they're amazing devices when it comes to engaging us, when it comes to distributing knowledge. So how can we use them for good? So that became basically Remente, to take knowledge from mental training, brain training, and psychology and mindfulness and put that all into an app so everybody could actually access the tools and what they need to do to live a great life and achieve well-being in their lives.
And that's how I discovered you. I came across the Remente app to support some of the work I'm doing potentially, and I love it. It's super, super easy. I love some of the easy slide rules on it and the visuals on it. So I offer that to the audience as well. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Okay, are you ready for your 3 questions?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to hit you. Number 1 is, if there was one thing, David, that you do on a daily basis, it's the main thing that keeps you above the fray, so to speak, and keeps you in that place where you're happier and you feel a little bit more fulfilled and your well-being is healthy. What is that one thing that you need to get in on a daily basis?
Yeah, so for me, and this is a tough one for me, well, I need to if I plan my day, just, reflect and take a minute to take a pause, a moment to what are the most important things that need to happen today, and consciously think of those things and make them tangible. And then I then use my app. Well, the reason why I use my app, okay, for obvious reasons, I work with the app, but I needed to be able to have some kind of balance in my life because it helps me manage all the distractions I'm facing. I'm a father of 2 young active boys, trying to be a loving husband, and I'm involved in a startup. So there are always things to do. So when I have some structure and planning, which I usually think is against my nature because I don't like structure and planning. I like to be spontaneous, but I realize when I do, it really, really helps me to set a direction. And that's when doing that, I actually speak to my mind, because the mind needs to know, it wants to know where it's going, and also wants to know why that is important. So if I got those two things down, I am in a much more, productive and calm and mindful place.
Great. Now, second question. If we think about this, now you mentioned your app, and there's a list of things, and there's the direction that you want to go in, and you review it, and then you carry out your mission on the day, and it feels all organized. If there's something in there, maybe it's on the app, but it's way down on the list. Maybe it hasn't even made it onto the app yet, but this thing has worked for you in the past. It's something that is good for you, and you don't have to have someone else tell you. You've experienced it, but you're not doing it right now. For whatever reason, what is that one thing that you need to reintroduce back into your formula?
Meditation.
And definitely. So you've done it in the past.
Yeah.
And it for whatever reason, it's not sticking as part of your routine right now.
Yeah. I try to do other things, such as I love mountain biking, where I'm in a state of total mindfulness while doing it, but it's really not the same as meditation, because in meditation you are really trying to avoid all these adrenaline rushes and so that you get from doing action sports. But I have other outlets where I try to be mindful, and being mindful is not only meditation, it's actually a state management thing. I'm actually in an interview just now. So that was my kid. So speaking of balance, who's asking great. Where's my iPad?
It's an important question.
Yeah, that's one of the most important questions apparently these days. No, so I'd say I try to find other ways to be mindful, but I know meditation is it's super powerful, and it only requires 10 minutes, but still I've been at a point for some time where I've had difficulties or I haven't prioritized doing it, basically. And I know the benefits are so great with it, so I really don't have an excuse at the end of the day.
Okay, great. So that's your second one. The third question now is sort of if we take a more of an expansive look on your reflection on life balance, and you probably more so than others have taken a lot of time thinking about this with the time you've spent on Remente. If there was one thing that you could offer up to the audience as a piece of wisdom, as something for them to consider, what might that be for them to take away from this conversation?
Yeah, and if I may, I'd like to address two things. I don't know if I'm going out of protocol, but so the first is connected to my first answer, which is basically formulate your intention. What's my intention for the day? What's my intention for the week? It doesn't need to be more than that, but a direction or things I know, a combination of something that I want to do, and that is connected to, that is important to me. So I feel just formulate an intention for the day, and when doing so, be kind to yourself. Don't set up these super lofty goals, but things that you actually can achieve. Goal setting is like anything else. It's it's a gradual process. Start with the small, tiny habits, the small wins to build confidence. So I'd say formulate your intention for the moment, for the day, for the week. That's one thing I feel is really, really helpful. And make sure that intention actually can be actionable, so it's not something lofty, dreamy that is not achievable. So start small and be kind to yourself in the process. The second thing I want to address that I feel can help a lot is focus on your breathing. Your breath is your anchor. You always have it with you. If it's not working, you're not working, because then you're dead. So that's a really powerful technique. If you feel that you're getting stuck in traffic, and the world is, and the traffic is conspiring against you, take a few deep breaths, because that can break that negative pattern. And that's why breathing is so, fundamental to meditation, as we talked about previously.
Yeah.
And we always have that with us. It's an anchor. So when I feel the frustration is coming, or I get sad or angry, if I just take a few deep breaths, that could be the thing that could help me break that negative pattern and take a step back to regain, being mindful and being here and now, and focus on what's really important. So those would be the two things I'd like to bring up.
Great. And to your point about mindfulness, just not having reached that point in the hierarchy of your to-do list to be a habit yet, for me, it had to be the first thing on my list for it to really stick. And it has been now for many years, and that's the only way I could actually make it stick. And I work with people in mindfulness all the time, and it's a tough one because it's sort of like a passive benefit, a soft benefit. You feel it, you feel better with it, but there's something about it not just logically in our brain feeling like it deserves to be habit. To be formed as a habit within our routine. So I'd offer that to the audience. If it is something you want to do, push it up on the to-do list.
Yeah.
Mine's number one. I don't do anything else. I don't open email. I don't do anything else unless I get my mindfulness practice.
I think that's great, really great advice. And first things first, the most important first. So when you plan your day and your intention, think about what's most important. Do that thing first, because that will set the tone for the rest of your day. And that's a stellar example. And our ambition with Rementa is that, just as we have understood, physical training, how important that is for us, that mental training becomes equally important. Well, it is, but that we realize that the challenge, as you mentioned, is it's not as tangible as going to the gym, but it can actually be easier, because you don't need to stand and lift weights and flex your biceps for 45 minutes. It could be just 10 minutes of doing nothing, or be conscious about what you're doing. But so it's really not that difficult, but that's what makes it so difficult.
Yeah, I agree. The second thing you said that also resonated quite a bit with me is being kind to yourself. So this is something that's taken me probably 40 years to really embrace. And I know during a period of time in my life when I wasn't kind to myself, I would exacerbate that bad day into a bad 3 days, into a bad week, and sometimes further, 2 weeks or what have you, because I was just beating myself up for not being worthy or not being able to do things that I should be doing. So learning to just accept that I'm not going to be my best version every day. I'm not going to have the energy or the focus or the creativity that I have on my best days for every day, and to just roll with that and know that it's cyclical, that this stuff comes and goes, and as long as I'm moving in the right direction, that's the work. So
I think it's a really good point. We've been looking a lot at habit formation, and what we've found from research and science is that if you're about to embark, or you have started adopt a new habit, and then you have a pause. So the problem is, let's say I want to eat more healthy. I'm going to take a 10-day challenge to eat more healthy, and I do that 9 days out of 10. But the 10th day, it was Saturday. There was a cake or something, and I fell through. So I will see myself as a failure, right? But I'm actually 90% successful.
Yeah.
But that, our brain sees things in black or white. And when it comes to habits, it doesn't matter if you have a pause, as long as you don't quit. So when I look at physical exercise, I've had periods where I've been working out more and periods where I've been working out less. And that stressed me out, because I should be working out 3 or 2 times or 5 times a week, and I'm not doing it, so I suck.
Yeah.
But really, my approach is I work out for life, for the rest of my life, to stay healthy and strong. And, that's a lifelong process. If I have a break for 1 month or a couple of weeks, that doesn't matter in the long run. The important thing is that I, jump back up in the saddle and get on with it. So my favorite proverb is a Japanese one that says, fall 7 times, stand up 8.
Lovely. That's a great way to bring this segment to a close. So I appreciate your time, David, and your wise words, and offer those up to the audience. Also offer up, check out Remente. It's a pretty cool app. I like it a lot. And thank you, David, again, for taking time to be with us. This is an ongoing series. For those of you that have liked this particular episode, please leave a like, or want something to comment on, or share it out to other people that you think might benefit from it. That's great as well. We will come back again with another interesting guest. We will leave David's notes, his contact details, sorry, in our notes of this program. And you can contact him if you'd like through the program details. Thanks again, guys, and we will talk to you soon. Take care. Thanks, David.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.